Hey guys, and welcome back to UKCSGO. Today we have a very special guest. We have aiM. She is the only UKCS player currently playing in ESL Impact and has just joined one of the best teams in the league, the only team to so far defeat Nigma Galaxy. And it's so cool to see you doing so well. But firstly, before we go any further, again, massive congratulations. And how are you doing?
I'm good, honestly. I'm really good. Riding the high of joining a new team. I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest.
Yeah, and I guess we can just talk about that quickly before we get any further. Of like, how did that all come around? Because the Flames organization closed down, and then you've landed really quickly back on your feet. So how did that all come around from going from Flames to NIP?
um, I mean, to be honest, it was at first when Flames went down. I thought, damn, like, because this is like sort of like my big kind of break or
Yeah,
whatever. I thought, well, that's it then. I'm probably not going to get another team, you know. But I got like a few messages, and I wasn't like really sure where I fit. But then the NIP coach messaged me, and I was like, I can't really pass that up. So we did a few trials, and I guess they liked me, so that's good.
that sounds pretty good. And so going back a little bit, you obviously came up through the UK scene, playing on like a scramble of teams. When you did start playing, 'cause it was a long, like you have been kind of like, I don't know if like the word competing would be, I don't know if that would be the right word to use, but you have been playing like ESCA and playing with people for quite a while. Was there a hope to go professional back then? And if there was a hope, was it maybe like lessened by the fact that the women's scene when you did start playing was a lot smaller than it is now?
Well, when I first started playing ESCA, it was mainly just with my friends. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't something that I'd really even thought about, because I don't know if it's because I thought I wasn't good enough or whatever, but I didn't really think about going pro. And to be fair, I didn't really have any female friends. I never really thought about like sort of like the female sort of like aspect of it. But sort of like back end of last year, or I suppose the whole of last year, um, I don't know. I just sort of like had the thought that maybe I could actually do it. I started like posting more on Twitter, and then I got contacted by one of my old teammates, and I guess that's really when I thought, oh, maybe I can actually sort of like make something out of this. So,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
And just a quick question about like the women's and female scene in general. How do you feel like the scene has actually changed or progressed since the start of Impact, both ability wise and perception wise?
Well, I think it's given like just women a platform in general, like a huge platform. Obviously, ESL's like massive,
Mm,
right? And before, obviously, the female scene did exist, but giving out invites, sort of like creating like it's sort of like a safe space, like, in my opinion.
mm.
Um, anyone can go qualify, anyone can do it. Like, I'm not being funny. I haven't even been playing professionally for a year, and here I am. Like, it's not. I don't know. I just think it's nice that it's given sort of like people the confidence to go and play. And I think the sort of like skill gap is like just from when Impact started is like decreased massively between
Yeah.
how it was before Impact. Like, I think there's so many good female players now that it's like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's great. Like, even watching it, like, I think damn, some of these players are actually really good,
Mm.
better than me. So
Well, I mean, you are now on one of the best teams, so yeah, I think that that's an interesting point. I want to come back to later about like the skill gap shortening and becoming a lot closer. But firstly,
yeah.
what you were talking about of how maybe you are like kind of new to the scene, and I think it's fair to say from an international perspective, you just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was like, oh, you're on Flames, and then NIP Impact now, and so firstly, looking at that, the Flames Shieldmaidens squad. How did this opportunity come about? Because it was a full international squad. So, like, how would you have had contact with these players before, and how did you get like the proposition to join?
With Flames
Yeah,
or with NIP? Yeah, with
Flames.
Flames.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, it kind of came out the blue. Like, I didn't have any contact with any of the players before. I didn't know any of them. Um, so it was just one day that the head of esports, Texans, Phil, messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you want to come try out for us? This, that, whatever." And it was totally out the blue. Like I think I'd played like one ESL Impact qualifier for season three, or maybe I played two at that point, two qualifiers. I'm not sure. And with with my old team, we didn't qualify. But I guess I stood out. I don't know. And yeah, he just messaged me. Was like, "Come try out. See how it goes." And yeah, so it was pretty crazy, to be fair.
Yeah, that seems like it's worked out really well. And going into that roster, kind of like what were your expectations, and also were you playing full time during this period? Because as you were posting recently, you just graduated. So were you playing full time? And if you were, how were you dealing with that with university?
I don't know what the expectations were. I think for me, it was just to not make a fool of myself.
Okay,
Try
yeah,
do my best. Uh, do whatever I can to help the team. Um, and yeah, it was full time, and I was doing full time university as well, which was a lot. Um, and it did take sort of like a toll on like I don't know, stress and whatever. But I don't know, I was like so passionate about CS at that point that I didn't really care. I just wanted to play. So
yeah.
yeah,
It was like it was worth the stress. Like you were like, this is something I have to do,
yeah,
type thing. Yeah. Um,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so that roster had it like a fairly difficult time in comparison to some of the other teams that you were placing quite low on in the season. What was potentially one of the main issues you faced on that roster during season, like the first season you played?
I'd say probably the communication. I do think everyone was actually great players, great teammates. There was just, some sort of like communication issues and also some tension um, within the team. Not that anyone, we don't hate each other. I'm good friends with everyone. Just I think when, things don't go the right way, like
Yeah, I get
people
you.
sort of like have, you know, it gets a bit tense, which is fine. Like it happens with every team. So yeah, I guess the main thing was probably just communication.
Yeah, and I think so. That is an interesting point about tension because talking to a lot of other players in Impact, it's a very cutthroat season, right? Like you lose two games and that like your chances are done. So is that like one of the reasons why the tension would be heightened because it's literally like you cannot do anything wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Like the second you lose one game, that's like already decreased your chances of qualifying by so much. And it's like when you have that like amount of pressure, I can understand like, people are gonna get a bit annoyed or a bit, tense. There's gonna be some sort of like not arguments, but like sort of like disagreements, People are not gonna be happy, which is totally fine. Like the second you lose, like I don't know, it feels like well, obviously it's your job, right? You
Yeah.
know, if you're not doing well at your job, people aren't going to be happy. So it's totally understandable. Uh, so yeah.
Yeah. And so unfortunately Copenhagen Flames closed doors. Were you guys wanting to stick together as a team? And like I think from my perspective, I would have looked at season three as like a build-up season where it's your first season. So it's obviously like you guys aren't going to take over the world in that season. So was that also a mentality of like, okay, we're going to build up in season three and then season four, and did that all just come crashing down because of the all closing doors?
Yeah, a bit. I think four of us decided to stick together. One
Yeah.
player didn't want to. But yeah, like I think it kind of like the sort of like bankruptcy of Flames, whatever. It kind of not destroyed the team, but like I think it destroyed people's morale. And
Mm.
when you lose that morale, you lose motivation. And then I think after that, people, they didn't really want to stick together, played. I think they just wanted like a break, which is totally fine. Like we didn't have like the best season. It was tough, to be honest. Like I think people were upset. I was upset. Like you really want to do well, and then when it doesn't go well, it's like. But yeah, like it was just sad, really. It was just sad.
Yeah, but I feel like we can still see a lot of positives from that season because naturally for you, that would have been, in my opinion, like your exponential growth would have come up like a lot because of playing in that season. So, what would maybe for you as an individual, some of the big takeaways from that first season, especially now that like you can bring into NIP?
I think the main sort of like experience I gathered was like sort of like team play and communication, like because obviously I my main thing was like face it, grind out face it, and whatever. But actually playing in a team is a total different like atmosphere, I guess. And I think I was just building on like sort of like my team play and
Yeah.
not being that sort of like egotistical player that I am on face it, but actually trying to help my teammates, becoming like sort of like a reliable player for them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think it's actually almost good? Because like you are, if I'm not mistaken, like fairly cracked on Face It. So is it maybe good to still show some ego in the server?
Oh, I mean, 100%. Like some of the positions that I played, you sort of like have to play for
Yeah.
yourself a lot. Like, you can't be constantly worrying about like your teammate or whatever. If you're like, in such like a intense aim duel or whatever. But no, for sure. Like, I mean, even though it is a team game, there is some uh times where you do have to be egotistical and you do have to play for yourself. So I guess it's just like trying to find the balance.
Yeah. And so looking at the NIP roster now, are you still playing those same roles or has there been like a bit of a shake up in the team and are you maybe out of position or are you still playing those same roles that you played before?
I'm playing totally different positions. Not
Ooh.
any roles are the same. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Actually, I'm quite excited. To be fair, even though they're totally different roles and they're not roles that I'd normally choose, but I don't know. I'm just excited. I think it'll be good for me to
Oh,
get some sort of like experience in different positions.
yeah, that is okay. So like completely different. So how are you prepping for that then? If it's like it's a completely different ball field, like what resources are you using and how are you learning how to like play those positions then?
Um, well, mainly sort of like demo watching POVs on YouTube, I think is the things that I find sort of like more helpful.
Hmm.
I think the issue is not knowing what to do, it's just when to do it. Like there's like I don't know, like sort of like situational things that I just need to sort of like work on, I think. Um so I have like the basis of what I need to do. I think it's just also like experience, right? Start playing, get comfortable. I think that's the main thing.
Okay. And just finally, sorry, what role actually is it? I forgot to actually ask what role are you playing now in the team as
Sort of like an anchor role. So
okay.
yeah, like
Okay.
main anchor.
That's going to be really interesting to see then. And so looking at this NIP roster, we were talking a little bit beforehand where you may have felt that like when the Flames organization, everything combusted, that was like your one shot. How much did it mean for you to instantly like land back on your feet with NIP?
It was a great confidence boost, to be honest. Like I don't know, I think I was like really worried, like, oh no, I'm gonna have to actually go do what my degree is, get a real job. But I don't know, it was just great. It was a great confidence boost. I was really happy when I got the message.
Oh, awesome. And then so when you are joining NIP Impact now, is there any shred of maybe like pressure because as it's kind of like everyone writes about, everyone talks about the only team to beat Nigma Galaxy, and then with that in mind, they then made roster changes. A lot of people would see that as like, okay, that's a bit bizarre, but do you maybe feel like any shred of just like, okay, I need to step up now?
Oh, 100%. Like, I think I'm always feeling the pressure. Even when I played for Flames, I was under a lot of pressure because it was like, where did I even come from? Like
Mm.
I'm just some sort of like random person that picked up or whatever. But yeah, 100% feeling the pressure. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm confident, even though I'm feeling the pressure. I feel quite confident about it, so it's okay.
Yeah. And so speaking about Nigma Galaxy and bringing on a point you spoke about at the start about how close Impact is now. Like obviously everyone knows Nigma Galaxy, they've won everything. However, if you look at the games, it's so much more close. It's so much closer. And I just want to talk about like why do you think at the beginning Nigma were so good? And why do you think now it's like actually so close and the margins between all the teams are very slim?
I think the reason why Nigma were so close is because they have sort of like well, first of all, they have pretty insane players. I'm not gonna lie, but I think they're sort of like, from what I gather, their communication is just like on point. I think that's what makes or breaks a team, and I think for them, their communication just seems out of this world. And the reason now why sort of like teams getting closer, I think that gap is like closing. So their communication is here, and every other team is slowly getting better, slowly sort of like, you know, getting a better understanding. Um, and obviously people are getting better as well. Like there's so many skilled female players. Like even with Navi and Nine Pandas, them girls are like insane. Honestly, they're really good.
Yeah. And so you've just graduated uni as we were talking about, and as we said, it gives you way more time to play CS. Could you put into words actually like how much that does, like how much is that actually going to create for you, and like how much do you think you'll improve now that you are playing full time?
Well, obviously, university full time thing. Like I
Yeah.
had to, the second I stopped playing, like for Flames, like on a night, I'd just do university work. So I'd have like zero free time basically.
Mm.
Obviously, I'd play Face It, I'd keep warmed up, but the free time like just was not there. And obviously, with the stress added on of my final major project or whatever, like it was just insane. So now that I have all that free time and then like zero stress, like I just have so much more time to put into the game, like whether that's like playing Face It on a night or you know just putting in more hours watching the demos and stuff. So yeah, it's just I've just got more time
Yeah,
really.
that sounds perfect. And so, lastly, about NIP, for an individual, for you personally, what are your expectations with this team?
Good question. I think just sort of like stick to the basics, don't make a fool out of myself. But yeah, just focus on myself, try help the team and do what they need me to do. Um and yeah, like just do as good as I can. I guess that's all anyone can ask, right?
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, lastly, just talking a little bit about UKCS as we are on UKCSGO. Um, as I said before, you are the only UKCS player in Impact right now. Um, why do you not like? Why do you think we don't see a huge amount of players from our region kind of like involved with this part of CS?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, I've never played with any uh English player from on CS. Like, never, not once, which I think is pretty insane.
Wait,
And
like at all? Like at
um,
all? At all?
well, I have like a few like old
Okay.
friends I
Yeah.
used to
Yeah.
play
Okay.
with,
Okay.
but nothing like high level.
Okay.
Like it'd be pretty crazy if I hadn't played with one girl from the UK
Yeah.
ever on
Yeah.
CS, but like not like high level. Not like
Oh.
something that
Okay.
would you know,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know, it's sad really. Like it's not that they don't have potential, because I 100% think that they do. I don't know. I don't know if it's whether they don't want to, or they're scared. I don't know. To be honest, like it's kind of weird. To be fair.
Okay. And then do you so like kind of talking about that, like maybe like you don't know why, maybe they're like, are they a little bit scared? Do you feel like because you are now playing an Impact, you actually almost like lead the way and say that okay, it is possible, you can do this?
I mean, I guess I've never really thought about it. I guess maybe it could be something to look up to for UK players, but I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I don't know. To be
Yeah,
fair, I really
that's
don't
fair
know.
enough.
Like,
And just finally, do you actually like? Would you get much support from the UK guys? Like obviously the old Birmingham Massive. Do you get much support from any of those people?
yeah, yeah. I still talk to a few of them. I think the quite proud of what I've like accomplished and where I am. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really uh played with loads of UK people. I've always
Hmm.
been sort of like playing with like European people. But the few tight, friends that I do have, I mean, they've always supported me. Like, it's really nice.
Yeah, and that's probably actually worked out in your favor playing internationally because now Impact is all international. So for you to not be just conclude like segregated to UKCS is probably maybe without actually anything better. But without further ado, I think that's been a wonderful interview. It's been actually such an honor talking to you, Mia, and I wish you only the best of luck in the future. And I cannot wait to see how you progress further on. And with that in mind, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed something a little bit different from UK CSGO, and I'll make sure to catch you next time.